A man named Ben, who's known for being careless, goes out drinking with his friends. The group of drunk men have a lot of fun, indulging in weed and discussing crude topics such as farts and breasts. As the night draws to a close, they eventually go to bed. At the same time, a girl named Allison wakes up to her alarm clock. She lives in her sister's place. A sister named Debbie has 2 kids and a caring husband, Pete. At breakfast, Debbie asks her husband to take the kids to school, but he has to decline as he has a workout appointment.
Yeah, I got an appointment with a trainer. I can't cancel now, it'll charge me.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I did. Last week, I told you.
You didn't tell me.
Allison volunteers to drive the kids instead. She works as an assistant at a local TV station, and her boss tells her that she's made a great impression on New York bosses and has the potential to be promoted to an interviewer.
Really? I know, I was so surprised too.
The only thing she needs to do is to lose weight.
You want me to lose weight?
No, I don't want you to lose weight.
No, we can't legally ask you to do that.
We didn't say lose weight. I might say tighten.
Tight.
Later in the day, Ben wakes up, drinks a beer, and goes to work with his friends. Their goal is to launch a website where customers can find out how much skin their favorite stars show in movies.
Only at fleshofthestars.com will customers be able to find exactly how long into what movies their favorite stars are exposed.
Having decided not to bother themselves with a lot of work, the friends go to a club where Ben meets Alice at the bar. She came there with her sister to celebrate the promotion.
Am I too old to be here?
No, of course not.
Does it look weird that I'm here?
No, not at all.
Am I hotter than these little bitches?
Yes, you look amazing.
Guys in here would f me, right?
Yes.
A bartender ignores them, so Ben pulls a couple of beers from under the bar.
There you go. Come on, man. Here you go. For your trouble. There you go.
Thank you.
They sneak away with a couple of bottles, and being quite drunk, Allison invites Ben to her place to do the adult stuff.
You're prettier than I am.
She asks him to wear a condom, but he fails, and then Allison makes a comment saying an ambiguous phrase.
God, just do it already.
And Ben misunderstands it as an invitation to an unprotected act of love.
Okay.
The next morning, having sobered up, Allison is horrified when she sees her prince and tries to get rid of him very quickly.
Can we have sex?
Yes.
Nice.
She tells him she has to go to work, but Ben insists on taking her out for breakfast.
Good morning, Allison.
I'm Ben. What's happening, man?
Ben.
How's it going?
To be young.
Stop it.
You stop it.
At the cafe, Allison asks about his job, and he tells her about their great project.
38 minutes in. 48 minutes in. Like an hour and 10 minutes. She's like naked that whole fucking movie.
After some small talk, Allison eventually leaves, but not before Ben informs her that he doesn't have a cell phone, but she can still email him. 8 weeks later, Allison is interviewing James Franco when she suddenly feels nauseous and vomits into a trash bin.
This is one of those fucking joke shows. I'm not into it.
She assumes she has food poisoning and asks the editor to cut the footage. The editor promises to fix it, but Allison continues to vomit. When she gets home, she asks her sister what's wrong, and being a mother of 2, her sister immediately realizes that Allison might be pregnant. Both of them go to the pharmacy and buy multiple pregnancy tests, all of which show positive results.
Oh good, a smiley face! Oh, I think that's bad.
Allison is shocked, as she hasn't had the adult stuff in a while, but then she remembers Ben.
Did I meet him?
Yeah. You know, he was kind of like medium height, sort of chubby, blonde, curly hair. Remember?
With the man boobs.
Yes.
Ben, on the other hand, doesn't make any changes in his life, and instead spends his free time drinking and smoking, hanging out with his friends by the pool. That evening, he receives an urgent email from Allison, asking him to call her back. Believing that she wants him again, Ben rushes over to see her.
I wanted to get together, like, tomorrow night.
I mean to call you so we could, like, hook up again, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool.
However, Allison has some surprising news for him. She informs him that she's pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Fuck off.
What?
What?
I'm pregnant?
With emotion?
With a baby. You're the father.
Stunned, Ben asks how this could be possible, to which Allison reminds him if he used protection. Ben admits that he didn't.
I don't know. I mean, I thought you were wearing a condom.
No.
What?
Because she let him, and he thought Allison was on birth control or something.
Why the f didn't you stop me once we started?
I don't know. Obviously, I was drunk.
The following day, they visit the gynecologist, who confirms the pregnancy. When Ben tells his friends, they mock him, saying that he's a complete idiot and suggest getting rid of the baby.
You gotta know all the tricks. Like, for example, if a woman's on top, she can't get pregnant. It's just gravity.
Well, that's true. Everyone knows.
But Debbie tells Allison not to even think about it. Having phoned, the couple decides to keep the baby. Allison visits Ben's house and meets his friends, who don't make a good impression on her.
How's it going? You want a toke?
No.
Moreover, she's frightened by his entourage. They go to a restaurant to talk about their future. Allison inquires about the money Ben make from their website, but he tells her that it's not launched yet and is living off the compensation he received from an accident as a child.
I got like 14 grand from the British Columbia government, and that really lasted me, until now.
Allison admits that she's not yet ready to love him, but promises to try and asks him not to leave her.
I like you too. A little so far. We have 7 months before the baby comes. We don't have to rush it.
That night, they have intimate relations, and the next day, Allison introduces Ben to her family. They are not thrilled with him either. Debbie comments on his overweight and laziness, says that he has bad genes and Allison's baby's gonna be overweight too.
Where does that end? How old is he?
23.
Looks 33.
But as Allison watches him play joyfully with her nieces, she starts to see good in him.
Just give him a break.
The couple goes shopping, buying books for new parents and supplies, and looks at a crib.
You know what? Let me buy it. I need to get you a baby present anyway, and I would love to get it for you.
No.
I'm serious, I want to.
No, it's too much.
Yes.
On the way out, Allison meets her friends and tries her best to hide that she's pregnant from Ben.
It's a really funny story, actually, if you got a second to hear
Not
it.
really funny. It's not funny.
Let them be the judge, okay? I think it's funny.
Ben, thinking she's hiding him because they're not married, proposes to her with an empty ring box because he has no money for a ring. Therefore, he makes a proposal with an empty box, promising to put the ring into it in the future.
It's not how I wanted it to be, but that is why I'm presenting you this empty box.
Allison declines, saying they need to focus on their child and figure out if they can live together first.
I don't know. We've only known each other 17 weeks, so it's...
Okay.
Ben tells his friends that he needs money soon and inquires about the launch date of their website, but they reveal that it will take at least 3 months due to a bunch of errors. The group goes out to drink.
Look, man, I didn't go to Yale so I could work 12 hours a day.
I thought you went to Santa Monica City College.
I went where I went, Jason.
The next day, Pete inquires about Ben's job. Ben shares with him about his startup, but to his surprise, Pete informs him that a similar website has already existed for a year.
Or like Mr. Skin?
Who's Mr. Skin?
Dude, Mr. Skin. Mr. Skin?
Dazed and confused, Ben rushes to inform his friends about the news. After researching the competitor, the group decides to abandon their project. In a state of panic, Ben insists that they need to come up with a new idea, but his friends dismiss the situation as they have already purchased tickets to the cinema and they will do work somehow later.
All we need to do is think of a new, better idea that no one else has thought of already.
Oh, dude, Spider-Man 3 starts in 8 minutes.
Sure. Don't worry, man. We'll figure it out.
In the meanwhile, Debbie confides in Allison that she's suspicious of Pete's behavior, thinking that he might cheat on her as he frequently disappears and doesn't respond to her calls.
I can't imagine Pete doing
There's
something
no
like that.
part of you that thinks that maybe he's a dirty little scumbag?
No.
During the next dinner, Pete abruptly leaves the table, claiming he needs to go to work. Debbie, Allison, and Ben follow him and observe him parking at an unfamiliar house. Debbie, assuming the worst, leads the trio inside.
I feel like this isn't a good way, and if you're gonna get caught cheating, it shouldn't be like this.
Well, maybe he should have thought of that before he was cheating.
Pete!
Stop it.
Coughed, what do you want from me?
Only to find that Pete is in the basement, holding a strategy session for a future baseball game with a group of men. She asks him what's going on, and he explains that he needs some alone time to maintain his sanity, and that he loves Debbie and the kids, but he can't dedicate all of his time to just them.
What'd you do last Wednesday night when you said you went to see a band?
I went to the movies.
With who?
By myself.
What'd you see?
Spider-Man 3.
You know what? I don't want you at the house anymore. Okay.
At home, Allison and Ben attempt to continue their intimate moment, but Ben suddenly jumps up and claims that the baby is kicking his hand. Allison insists they continue.
No, it's fine. Not like this. No,
Just keep going.
But Ben refuses and calls it a warning kick, believing that the baby doesn't like his action.
Look, my dick must be like an inch away from its face, and it's just coming in at its face.
Allison becomes offended and sends him to hell before falling asleep. Later, she wakes up due to an earthquake. After waiting outside, they return home, and while cleaning the mess in the room, Allison discovers Ben's untouched paternity books, which she hasn't even taken out of the bag. She also finds a bank statement revealing that he only has $117 left. The next day, Allison scolds Ben for acting like a child and not being able to take care of himself, let alone her. She ends up kicking him out of the car in the middle of the road.
You know, I know this isn't you talking, it's your hormones, but I would just like to say, fuck you, hormones. You are a crazy bitch. Hormones, not Allison, hormones.
Offended guys travel to Vegas to hang out. After eating mushrooms, they attend a circus.
If I shaved my stomach and my chest, I would look exactly like that.
In the evening, they have a conversation about their women and the exorbitant number of chairs in the room. During this conversation, Ben realizes that he cannot leave without Allison.
Debbie's amazing, man. She's cool, and she's funny, and she smells good, and she's nice, and her hair always looks different. She's too good for you, man. She's like a rainbow.
He returns to the city, moves out of his friend's place, gets a job, and begins preparing for fatherhood by reading the books he purchased and setting up the nursery. In the meanwhile, Allison's pregnancy can no longer be hidden, and she attracts the attention of movie stars while shooting a reportage on the red carpet. All the stars are happy to have a conversation with the future mother.
When are you due?
I got 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, but you're so big already.
Yeah.
When is that baby popping out?
Her boss calls her in and informs her that according to her contract, she should have notified them of her pregnancy and she could be fired. However, the audience is delighted with her, so she's given her own show to interview young star mothers.
You're pregnant, they're pregnant, you can talk about being pregnant.
To celebrate this opportunity, Allison and Debbie go to a nightclub, but they're stopped by a security guard who tells them they cannot enter. Debbie snaps at him, calling him a roided out freak and a doorman.
You're a doorman, okay? You're a doorman. Doorman. Doorman!
And tells him she can go wherever she wants. The guard takes her aside and explains that he doesn't like his job, but those are the rules and the owner doesn't want pregnant women or old women hanging out in his club.
You old, she pregnant. Can't have a bunch of old pregnant just running around. That's crazy.
The next day, Debbie leaves for Disneyland with Pete and the kids, while Allison stays at home alone. Ben, who's been studying the guidance of a young father, declines an invitation from his friends to go drinking, saying that he has to get up early. Allison begins to feel contractions and panics, calling Ben to come and take her to the hospital. Once there, Allison asks Ben to stay with her, and he doesn't leave her side. After a couple of hours, Allison gives birth to a girl, and holding her in his arms, Ben realizes his life will never be the same, and he is extremely happy about this. He takes Allison and his daughter home and becomes an excellent father.